This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
It's not just, yes, I can prescribe you a medicine, but it's, I know what that feels like to live that. And so I think I have empathy for patients, and I also think that I have hope because I've been through it.
It's the hunt. Searching, looking, knowing when something's coming out, and then figuring out where they are.
We bring in a lot of people for Oktoberfest, and we think that the music, the Gemütlichkeit, and aesthetically pleasing floats are important to a good parade.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Dua Esrar.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is September 8th, 2023. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, too.
Friday. At the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
End of the week, we're going to celebrate. We had a shorter week because we had Labor Day off. But we were...
Yeah, it still felt like a normal week, though.
It did, it did. Sometimes you get excited that you have an additional day off, and then you kind of, I don't know, almost like play yourself.
Right.
And then you end up having an extremely long work week because that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I don't know what would make it a short week then if it's not 4.
Maybe
probably.
Three, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think with our schedule too, work weeks still feel longer because we're getting up at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Exactly, it makes sense.
And
I can't even remember the last time I had like a 2 or 3 day work week or something short like that.
That's going to be me next week.
Oh, well, there you go. A little bit of a tease there for you.
Yes, but along with the shorter work week, we're also getting lower temperatures.
We are, and definitely feeling a lot more like September outside here as well for us to work with. So that's great news. Current temperatures right now, though, not in the 70s quite yet, but we are currently sitting into the 50s here this morning. As of right now, we're just shy of 60 in La Crosse, but 56 is the temperature now in Eau Claire. So right now we're off to a bit of a partly to mostly cloudy start this morning. That may continue through at least around 9 o'clock or so. Then we turn mostly sunny by 11. I'm expecting lots of sunshine, though, after that through the rest of the day today, with highs mainly into the mid-70s and a light northerly wind here for much of the day, helping to keep us relatively cool. Dog walking conditions here today. Partly cloudy start in the morning, mostly sunny again this afternoon. Clear skies here for you this evening. And the allergy symptom index report is showing everything is still high for the weed, ragweed, and the mold. Not just today, but also as we head into your weekend tomorrow. 41 is the second highest ragweed count so far this year. Stay tuned. I'll have a check on your schoolcast plus your full weather forecast, and we'll time out how long these nice conditions are expected to last. All that and more in just a bit. Dua?
Thanks, Derek. Well, let's get to some news this morning. A former canine handler in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is charged in connection to the death of a police canine. Alex Moss has been charged with the intentional mistreatment of an animal, a Class A misdemeanor. That's according to online court records. He was put on administrative leave in May after his 6-year-old canine Colt suffered a heat-related injury and died 5 days later. Moss later resigned. The Vernon County Sheriff's Office and Juneau County DA's office have been investigating the canine's death ever since. Moss has an initial appearance in Monroe County Circuit Court October 10 at 9 in the morning. If convicted, he faces up to 9 months in jail, a $10,000 fine, or both. One of La Crosse's most popular restaurants is closing its doors. Fazy's restaurant and bakery ownership have announced their decision to close on Facebook. The business has been on 4th and Pearl since the 1980s. Ownership says it's been difficult to run a small family-owned business with scarce workforce, increasing food prices, and industry uncertainty. Fazy's hopes to stay open through October 8th. The burn bans in the village of Stoddard and the town of Bergen have been lifted. According to Stoddard Bergen Fire Chief Brian Lehman, it's because the current fire danger level has improved from extreme to high. According to a previous press release put out by the Stoddard Bergen Fire Department, a danger level of high means that fires can still start quickly from most causes and can spread at a fast rate. Pez. They started as mint dispensers for smokers because they looked like a lighter, but then morphed into little pieces of plastic with sugar candy inside. The most avid Pez dispensers collectors are all flocking to Winona this week. This year marks 10 years of Pez on the River, where Winona enthusiasts host a Pez convention in town. Collectors from across the country come to buy, sell, and trade all things Pez. One convention co-host says these conventions are rare, but the collectors have become a family as they complete their collections.
It's the hunt. Searching, looking, knowing when something's coming out, and then figuring out where they are. And
convention attendees also participate in a charity auction to raise money for Winona's Home and Community Options, which provides housing services for people with disabilities. We'll have more information about the convention on our website. Oktoberfest starts in 3 weeks, but some are already celebrating. Former Mrs. Oktoberfest held a cryosing of the float, the Oktoberfest version of a christening of a new boat. And instead of popping a bottle of champagne, they toasted with old-style beer. Mrs. Oktoberfest 2012, who is the chair of the float renovation committee, says it was important to have a good-looking float for the parade.
We bring in a lot of people for Oktoberfest, and we think that the music, the Gemütlichkeit, and aesthetically pleasing floats are important to a good parade.
Of course, the renovations don't only make the float look better. Bartels says the float is now safer and more comfortable to ride on. This year's Mrs. Oktoberfest has not been announced yet, but you can expect to hear more about 2023's royal family soon. Miss La Crosse Oktoberfest will be crowned Saturday. The La Crosse and Winona Public Libraries have announced this year's Driftless Regional Read. The Driftless Regional Read is an annual opportunity for the community to come together and read a single book. What Happened to You by Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey is this year's read. It focuses on how trauma impacts both physical and mental health. The libraries have teamed up with local organizations to host 30 events focused on mental health between now and December. The first regional read event is happening today at 1 in the afternoon in Winona. It's a nature walk hosted by Winona Nature and Community. We'll have a link with the list of all of the events posted on our platforms. Stepping Out in Pink is happening tomorrow. It is a yearly Gunderson tradition to raise money and awareness for breast cancer research. In a little more than a year, one La Crosse area woman has gone from patient to provider. A difficult journey, but as Michael Germain reports, it's given her a new perspective.
I was diagnosed in 2021.
Kirsten Bucher has traveled the bumpy road.
I had chemo every 2 weeks for 5 months, so a pretty intense regimen there. Hair loss and tiredness and nausea, kind of those things that you think of when you think of chemo.
Since 2021, she's been in and out of Gunderson a lot. These days, though, her journey through these doors has changed.
I think it's really important to have something that's your go-to, because there's hard days.
After spending her days as a patient, Bucher began training to become a physician's assistant.
I was here in the hospital working with different patients throughout the day, and so that was a good way for me to keep busy, keep my mind off of things, and gave me a reason to get up in the morning and get going.
Her journey has given her a perspective few other providers can truly understand.
I know what it's like to be hooked up to a chemo infusion. I know what it's like to walk through the grocery store with no hair and have people look at you like you're a sick person.
It's the reason she keeps coming back.
It's not just, yes, I can prescribe you a medicine, but I know what that feels like to live that, and so I think I have empathy for patients, and I also think that I have hope because I've been through it.
Since becoming a physician's assistant, Bucher's diagnosis has changed for the better.
I also have a family, and so they're a big support for me and was very helpful to me to be able to continue to do that when I wasn't necessarily feeling the best every day.
She's now cancer-free and on hormone suppression therapy for long-term treatment.
Not trying to look too much to the future, but really taking the day as it comes and saying I want to be here in the present right now and really fully present and not letting those things slip away.
Offering her patients a perspective like few others.
You're not guaranteed tomorrow, and so make the most of today.
Well, still ahead on your morning news, the United Auto Workers Union says they will strike if automakers don't meet their demands. What that could mean for U.S. consumers. And Apple is telling users to update their devices immediately. We'll tell you why this is one warning to take seriously. Well, that and more is coming up this morning, but for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Live long and prosper, lacrosse. Today is National Star Trek Day. September 8th celebrates Gene Roddenberry's classic space opera. It's a special day for Trekkies because on this date in 1966, the show landed on American screens to go boldly where no TV franchise had gone before. It broke down racial barriers by featuring TV's first interracial kiss. The show's hero, Captain Kirk, said, "The prejudices people feel about each other disappear when they get to know each other." That's a message we can all embrace. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Well, temperatures this morning are mainly into the 50s. We got 59 degrees, just shy of that 60-degree mark currently in La Crosse. 56 now is the temperature in Eau Claire. And the rest of us here, again, mainly in the 50s. We're seeing this low 60s, however, down in the Prairie du Chien area here this morning. All right, so let's talk about your zone forecast today. Going to be a little bit seasonable here, a little bit warmer, but still a little cooler here with highs into the 70s across much of the region today. 75 in Berry Mills this afternoon. As we head south into Gaze Mills, you'll be at 74. La Crescent 75 today. Lafarge at 73, Hillsborough 71, and Viroqua looking at 71 degrees here today. Meanwhile, as we head into our central zones, Melrose, you're looking at 74, same in Trempealeau, looking at highs around 74 in Arcadia as well, but 72 to the north in Osseo. Meanwhile, the Chippewa Valley in the Eau Claire area, you're looking at highs around 73 degrees. Off to school here this morning, temperatures start off at 58 degrees, partly cloudy skies, but on the way back home from school, we should be turning sunnier with temperatures at a very comfortable 72 degrees. Stay tuned. Another check on your full weather forecast is still to come. I'll let you know how long these nice weather conditions behind me are expected to last.
In your consumer news this morning, the United Auto Workers say they will go on strike next week if automakers fail to meet their demands. Last month, 97% of UAW members voted to authorize a potential strike in preparation for contract negotiations with the big three automakers. UAW members are asking for a 4-day work week and a 46% wage increase. But the big three automakers don't appear likely to meet those demands. A work stoppage would mean higher car prices and could have broader implications for the U.S. economy. Update immediately. That's what Apple is telling users with iPhones and iPads. The tech giant says the update fixes a system issue that hackers could use to easily attack devices through their Bluetooth systems. Experts are advising users to go to the settings menu on their devices and then select General, then tap Software Update. After that, hit Install Now to begin the process. With the new school year underway, parents are not the only ones having to spend more money on their students. New reports are showing that teachers are having to spend more to adequately meet their classroom needs. Melissa Rainey takes a look at how the new trend is impacting both teachers and parents' wallets.
First of all, let's stand up.
This back-to-school season, more than 90% of teachers are spending more of their own money on classroom supplies. That's according to the National Education Association, which is the largest teachers union in the U.S. It estimates that during the 2023-2024 academic year, teachers will spend $800 or more out of pocket.
And so for teachers, that's roughly 1 to 2 paychecks every school year they're spending on buying supplies and stepping into the gap for these students.
And inflation is making it harder for teachers to stretch those dollars. Most school supplies have jumped in price, with the cost of crayons, pens, and pencils up nearly 19% year over year. A separate report by Study.com found that nearly 70% of teachers cited persistent inflation as having a noticeable impact on their ability to afford supplies on their own this year.
When notebooks are on sale at Target, and I'd go buy a whole bunch of them, so I'd have them, so when a kid needed it, I just went to the stash that I bought.
And it comes at a time when more teachers are quitting their jobs, citing low salaries and other concerns, which is worsening an ongoing teacher shortage in the U.S. In February 2023, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were nearly 150,000 more openings in public education than there were hires.
With the high cost of inflation and prices, et cetera, teachers are concerned. And we're seeing all across the U.S. a demand for core essential school supplies.
According to the National Retail Federation, families of college students are expected to pay an average of $1,366.95 per person. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and get today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Dua. Off to a very cloudy start here this morning from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse, but not to worry though. It was a pretty cloudy day yesterday. The clouds that we're seeing here this morning are expected to clear as the day goes on. Current temperatures now are at 59 degrees in La Crosse. Meanwhile, if you're in Eau Claire, you're also looking cloudy here too. Temperatures here for you right now at 56 degrees. And you can see some of those clouds being picked up on the satellite picture there as well this morning. And again, current readings are into the 50s heading out the door, with 55 now in Winona and 54 degrees now in Sparta. So those clouds that we're seeing now will continue to gradually clear out. We will turn mostly sunny as we head to the noon hour today, with temperatures at 66 and then sunshine 73 by 4. Clear skies with temperatures feeling very comfortably to 68 degrees early this evening, with forecast highs expected to be mainly into the mid-70s this afternoon. 75 in La Crosse here today and a high of 73 expected this afternoon in the Eau Claire area. Look at all the clouds right now across the upper Midwest, so we're not the only ones still dealing with the cloud cover. It is expected to clear as we see some drier air begin to intrude the area, and that should help get rid of some of these clouds, or most of these clouds, especially by the late morning hours. So here's 6 o'clock this evening, and you can see we got clear skies statewide across Wisconsin, including us here in the Coulee region. This trend will continue through most of the night, but by 1 o'clock, watching this next disturbance back to the west, that could help increase the cloud cover maybe just a little bit, followed by some partly cloudy conditions as we take you into tomorrow morning. So here comes that disturbance that I talked about. You can see it moving in as we head into tomorrow afternoon. That's why we're not expecting a mainly sunny day like what we're having today. We start to see increasing moisture with this system, so that could lead to some clouds, maybe a slight chance of a shower or two. I think we'll see some better chances of rain as we head into tomorrow night, though, as this low continues to advance its way towards the east, along with its associated cold front boundary with it as well. So again, that could help increase our chances of rain here later this weekend, and we may even see some more chances as we head into next week. We'll get to your 8-day in a second. That's very good news for the drought, by the way. As you can see, much of the upper Midwestern United States is still under an excessive drought, and you can see, especially across our southern communities, we're under this level 4 extreme drought condition. That's not good, because that means that we're significantly below our average rainfall, which is leading to those bad drought conditions. The rest of us anywhere from about that moderate to severe drought condition as well. So unfortunately, it's just not getting any better, but we will be looking at some better rain chances come Sunday again, also into early next week on Monday and Tuesday. Take anything that we can get across the upper Midwest, with highs into the 70s, lows into the 50s. All right, stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather, and that's still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're sending it a break with a look what happened on this day in history for September 8th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. Week 4 of the Wisconsin high school football season kicked off last night. The top 2 teams in Division 7 have been unstoppable so far this year. Now, the 2 conference rivals won't meet until week 6, but Bangor and Cashton were both in action last night, looking to keep those perfect records intact. Let's start in Eagles country. The Cashton student section fired up. They have every right to be. The Eagles have been soaring past the competition, and that did not change Thursday against Riverdale. 4th down try, works out well. Noah Hemmersbach takes it to the house, cashing up 2 scores. Then the Eagles defense stepping up. Look at this tackle here from Brett Hemmersbach. Chieftains with absolutely nowhere to go. Cashton's D suffocating all night, and the offense explosive as always. Brady Hemmersbach rolling left all the time in the world. Dumps it off to Noah, and the senior's gonna do the rest. He takes it down inside the 15, and then it's Brett going back to work, slicing, dicing his way through the Riverdale defense. Brett almost gets it in, but he's down at the 1. Very next play, he caps off the drive with the score. Hemmersbach gets in for the touchdown. Eagles making it look easy. They kept their foot on the gas all night long. Later in the half, it's Brady rolling right this time, hooking up with Connor Butzler. The senior barrels his way in for the score. 34-0 Cashton, and Butzler was just getting warmed up. Still in, couple minutes left to go in the half. Hemmersbach finds Butzler dashing across the middle, and he can fly. Nothing but green grass ahead. Butzler takes it all the way to the house. Eagles keep on soaring. They get the shutout win over Riverdale, 55-0. It's the battle of the Cardinals. Necedah hosting Bangor in conference play. First quarter, Bangor starting fast. Samuel Kropp gets the rock, bust open a big one. Nobody's gonna catch the senior. Kropp can fly, he takes it to the house. Cardinals up 7-0. Couple minutes later, it's Chase Horseman's turn. He takes it up the middle, cuts to his right, down the near sideline, finds the edge, and he's in for the score. Bangor comes out red hot. They're up 14. Necedah looking for some momentum, but Bangor's Landon Phillips is going to come up with the big pick going backwards to snag this one. But check this out. Phillips somehow gathers himself, picks up enough speed. He's going to take it all the way to the house for another Bangor touchdown before you could blink. Cardinals were up 21. They keep on rolling as they get the shutout win over Necedah, 49-0. Let's go to Hillsboro. Tigers hosting Iowa Grant. Third quarter on 4th down. Panthers looking to keep the chains moving, but Hillsboro's Joseph Cairns comes up with the big sack. Tigers holding on to the lead. Late in the quarter, Hillsboro D looking for another stop. This time it's Dane Green taking down the IGQB. Fourth quarter now, visitors get on the board. Dawson Reed is going to find the end zone. Panthers trail 16-8. They would recover the onside kick, but a 4th down pass is going to come up just a little short. That ends the threat. Hillsboro survives. They get the win 16-8. Let's go to the volleyball court. MVC action last night. Holman hosting rival Central. Early in the first, Central's going to block the spike, but Melissa Hoff taps it back for the easy point. Holman up big early. Later in the set, Charlie Casey is going to send a rocket across the net. Holman cannot be stopped. Now Central trying to string a few points together. Alyssa Brixton puts it out of reach for the Vikings. Riverhawks trying to fight back, but Izzy Jar came to play. She ends the set with an ace, 25-18 Vikings. Early in the second, Ella Crawford avoids the Vikings block. It's a point to keep things close. Vikings, though, they're ready to fight. This time, Jar throws the hammer down to put Holman up 4. Vikings would start to pull away, and again, it's Jar. What a season she's having. She goes right down the middle for the dagger. Vikings keep on rolling. They get the 3-set sweep over Central. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
You expect more, so thank you for watching News 8 Now.
An eastern Wisconsin man was arrested for allegedly assaulting a law enforcement officer during the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, Joseph Catani of Colgate, Wisconsin faces felony charges of civil disorder and assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers and multiple misdemeanor counts. According to the criminal complaint, video shows Catani grabbing an officer's face shield and pulling it up and down to jerk the officer's head. The complaint also alleges Catani spoke to law enforcement officers on November 1st of 2021 and admitting he entered the Capitol during the riot. Catani had an initial court appearance yesterday in the Eastern District of Wisconsin and was released on his own recognizance. According to records, he is scheduled to have a virtual court appearance in Washington, D.C. on September 19th. He is the 10th person in Wisconsin to be arrested for charges related to the January 6th riots. Uncharted waters, that's where political pundits say Wisconsin is headed if state Republicans try to impeach Supreme Court Justice Janet Protasiewicz. The main questions surrounding impeachment have been when and why judges should step aside from hearing a case. And the two major parties couldn't be further apart on the issue. Impeachment in Wisconsin is limited to charges of corrupt conduct in office or committing a crime. Protasiewicz has not yet heard a case, but we know there are 2 lawsuits arguing the state's legislative maps should be redrawn. During her campaign, she said those maps were unfair and rigged, but stopped short of saying how she would rule in a case about redistricting. Republicans argue those comments mean she's already prejudged the cases and should not be allowed to rule on them. But a 2002 U.S. Supreme Court ruling says all candidates have a right to publicly state their positions while campaigning. And with that precedent, the Wisconsin panel that investigates judges dismissed those prejudging complaints against Protasiewicz.
That's fine.
The state's Democratic Party chair says Protasiewicz recusing herself would mean canceling the will of 1 million Wisconsin voters. A recent letter to the Milwaukee Journal Centennial feels the same way. It quoted former conservative Chief Justice Pat Roggensack, who said in 2010, when a judge is disqualified from participation, the votes of all who voted to elect that judge are canceled for all issues presented by that case. Nonprofit journalism sites like Wisconsin Watch have published reports citing third-party analysts who contend Wisconsin's maps are gerrymandered to favor Republicans. Former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker says there's no credible evidence of that, and that Wisconsin is competitive because so many Democrats are in Madison and Milwaukee. But Assembly Speaker Robin Vos confirmed 2 years ago that the maps are gerrymandered.
Partisan advantage is not an intent of these maps.
Well, it's clearly a constitutional allowance. The Supreme Court, as you know, said that there is no problem. Yeah, there is no constitutional prohibition on that criteria. So yes, was partisanship considered as a consideration in the map? Yes, there were certain times that partisanship was.
And that's true. The Wisconsin Constitution really only requires legislative districts to consist of contiguous territory, but creative drawing from either majority party can still skew districts. The other argument for impeachment from Wisconsin Republicans is that Protasiewicz got $10 million from the Democratic Party during the campaign, and that means she can't rule fairly. But the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign reports all but one current justice have gotten contributions from a party, and the Associated Press reports conservative courts have allowed justices to hear cases involving their campaign donors since 2010. The Democratic Party is not behind the redistricting or abortion lawsuits, but they are topics in which an overturning would certainly benefit Democrats. Farmers in the Minnesota and Wisconsin area are dealing with crop-threatening droughts. John Lawrenston spoke with some seed experts about how farmers are trying to adapt to the dry climate.
You can go 2 miles and have guys that were catching rain events all year, and then people that haven't had rain in 2 months.
Near the town of Elgin, seed dealers from Minnesota and Wisconsin have gathered to talk crops and Mother Nature. They're comparing notes on what grows best in a drought.
Hybrids and varieties that are tolerant to dry weather overall. We're back-to-back years in southeast Minnesota, western Wisconsin overall has been very dry.
When it comes to rain, experts say it's best to look at it like a bank. There are a lot of rain deposits in the springtime, but now there's a serious deficit. No one is feeling that more than farmers near Rochester, where many fields haven't seen significant rainfall in a month.
The precipitation pretty much just stopped for several weeks. We've gotten about 10 inches of rainfall this summer, so that's quite low.
It's about half of what they normally see. Ryan Miller of University of Minnesota Extension says last week's extreme heat with overnight lows in the 80s was a major blow, and it may have caused some cornfields to shut down weeks ahead of time.
It looks like we fast forwarded from August to October.
While he says some of these fields could be harvested already, the yield won't be good. Any rain they get from here on out will help next year's crop, not this one.
Certainly this is the worst I've ever seen it as far as drought conditions and stress that the crop's been under all year.
Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our commute.
All right, thanks for that, Duo. I do want to give you an update here on the latest drought conditions here. This just came in yesterday from our drought monitor, and you can see that, we're still looking at some pretty hefty drought conditions down to the south where we're under this extreme drought condition, while the rest of us anywhere from that moderate to severe drought status across much of the Coulee region. So any rainfall is definitely much needed. We do have some rain chances in the forecast. We'll get to that a little bit later. Heading out the door this morning, temperatures are currently into the 50s here. We're going to be warming up to about 75 today. Mostly sunny, but still slightly on the cool side for this time of year. Winds looking mainly light and variable. Heading into tonight, temperatures drop to 52, mostly clear and a bit of a cool night. Light and variable winds for us to work with. So as far as your mowing forecast goes today, doesn't matter which hour you pick here throughout the day, because conditions are looking mainly sunny with temperatures in the 50s to start, followed by the 60s at noon. Very comfortable 75 degrees at 5 o'clock. But stay tuned and check on your full weather forecast is again coming up in just a bit.
Well, before we head to break, it's time for today's Look Who's 8, and spoiler alert, we've got quite a few golden birthdays.
Yeah, a lot of birthdays today in general, too. Kazan, we're going to start with his 8 months old. Now, he's got a great giggle, and he loves attention.
Leo is 8 months old today. He loves playing with his sisters, crawling around, and pulling himself up to stand.
Sadie is 8, and it's her golden birthday. She likes soccer, watching movies, and had a great trip to Mount Rushmore this summer.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Jace is turning 8. He's happy-go-lucky, always up for adventure, and it's also his golden birthday.
Chloe is 8 years old today. It's her golden birthday too. We have 3 golden birthdays today. She loves gymnastics, dance, and soccer.
Well, if you think we stopped at 3, think again, because Brinley is 8 and it's also her golden birthday. She loves dancing, softball, and her dog Bernie.
Finley is 8 and it's also her golden birthday. Surprise, surprise. So we have 5 golden birthdays today. I think that's a record too. So by the way, Finley loves gymnastics, dancing, and spending time with her family. Happy birthday, Finley.
Judy is 88. She has 5 kids, 11 grandkids, and 10 great-grandkids. She's a busy quilter and loves a good rummage sale.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab. Stay with us. We have the members of the Elvis Explosion in studio to talk about the weekend-long event that's coming up next.
Well, it sure is a very cloudy start here this morning from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse, as you can see right there behind me. Temperatures are currently at 59 degrees. Our wind speeds are looking nice and calm. Visibility looking picture perfect for that morning commute. And the same can be said to the north in Eau Claire. Right now we're running at 56 degrees, still a little bit cloudy. North-northeast winds light at around 3 miles an hour. You can see a little bit of the cloud here being picked up on the satellite and radar picture as we speak, with current temperatures again mainly into the 50s. Winona, good morning to you. You're currently at 57. Black River Falls at 56. Sparta's at 55. Same in Viroqua. Down south into Bosquebel, we're at 57. Prairie du Chien at just shy of that 60-degree mark here this morning. So a check on your planner. It'll be 58, partly cloudy to start, mostly sunny, 66 degrees at noon today. And then by 4 o'clock, lots of sun, 73 being the temperature. Then we're into the upper 60s with clear skies as we head into early on this evening. So really a picture-perfect day to say the least. And check out these forecast high numbers today, mainly into those low to mid 70s. 73 Eau Claire today, 75 in La Crosse this afternoon. If you're in Winona, you should be at 74 today. And the same can be said for areas like Sparta and also north into the Black River Falls area as well today. So you can see plenty of clouds across the upper Midwest right now. These clouds are expected to clear as we see some drier air begin to move into the atmosphere later this morning. So I think by the late morning to early afternoon, you'll start to notice a difference in the sky coverage there, and lots of sunshine and clear skies in general are in the forecast as we head into early this evening and also into early tonight. But I am watching some clouds associated with this next disturbance that's forecast to move into the area heading into tomorrow night and also into early tomorrow morning. I'll be watching the system inching closer and closer. And as it inches closer to us, you can see some more cloudy skies beginning to arrive by late afternoon tomorrow, with a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm or two. I think we'll see some better chances, though, as this low continues to advance its way towards the east, along with an associated cold front boundary with that low as well. So therefore, some better chances, I think, starting tomorrow night and also continuing into the rest of the weekend. That's great news, though, folks, because we definitely need the rain across the upper Midwest. You can see a lot of strong drought conditions, especially down to the southern communities of us, seeing that exceptional drought status, or extreme drought status, excuse me. But really, a lot of us here on anywhere between that severe to extreme drought status. So we can take any rain that we could possibly get across the area, as rainfall averages are significantly below normal. A check on your 8-day forecast showing that we will be looking at highs into the low 80s for tomorrow, upper 70s on Sunday. Again, those chances of showers and storms there. Monday and Tuesday, looking at chances of rain here too. But the rest of next week, mainly sunny, with highs into the 70s, lows in the 50s.
Well, this morning we have Casper, Sylvain, and Oliver with us today to talk about the Elvis Explosion event that is happening this weekend, and I have to say this has to be one of the most interesting days at work.
Me too, because I feel like I stand out like a sore thumb compared to you guys, all dressed up. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this Elvis Explosion. What is it?
Yeah.
It is a huge contest, big contest of 20 top competitors all over the world. I'm from Holland, Oliver's from Germany, Sylvain is from Canada. He's the current champion. And it is a battle. It is a battle. We're going to give the best show ever. We're going to give the audience a really it's an illusion of Elvis. So everybody is the best of the best.
So tell us more about the event too. Where can folks get tickets?
It's in the La Crosse Center.
Okay.
And it starts tonight. September 8th, Friday on 7 o'clock. You will hear a big bang, then when it starts the Elvis explosion.
Nice,
so
literally.
it's going to be quiet on the street.
So you mentioned that Oliver Sylvain, you're the reigning champion.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So are you guys going to be competing against him?
Yeah.
Wow.
We try,
yeah, for sure.
But these guys are all fabulous. I mean, it's not just about the win. It's about, you know, the brotherhood that we do this, the passion that we have doing the Elvis experience, actually. And yes, but I am here this year to defend my championship.
Yes, just joking. But you can get tickets on the door right now. So please join us, and we need a huge crowd from La Crosse.
Tell me how you guys got involved with this. How did you just wake up one day and you were like, I'm going to be an Elvis impersonator?
Actually started as a fan.
Really?
Very young age, and I think that's the way it starts. You start as a fan, and then you become, you know, you get into it more. And today it's so easy with all the social media and everything to get stuff. You know, the jewelry, the suits.
Right.
So it's a big business. Into 20 years, what happened in between of 20 years in this kind of business, you get more of the jumpsuits outfit, the rings, the music, and the attention of the fans. It's incredible. We all do shows in our countries with thousands of people, and they watch our show on An Illusion of Elvis Presley, and it's incredible what happened with the people. They're screaming and crying, and it's incredible.
So getting back to the Elvis explosion, what would you say is your favorite part? What stands out the most to you?
This is the biggest that I've ever done, for me, the nicest. The stage, the decor is fabulous, and the people were fantastic here last year. Last year was my first time, so this year I'm expecting the same thing. So
for me, it's the first time, but I heard over the years a lot of La Crosse and this business, and I know the producer Ronnie Gregg, who's doing this over years, and he said, "You have to come, you have to come." I said, "I'm not sure, so I'm from Germany, blah blah blah," and right now I'm here. So because of these guys, I know him over years, and Casper is a friend of mine too, because we are from the same place. Exactly.
It's just a big honor to be on stage with all these guys. Normally you do a show alone. Now there are 5 shows. Friday starts, Saturday in the afternoon 1 o'clock, and then Saturday 7 o'clock. Gospel Sunday, and then the contest, the finals is on Sunday. It's be a battle.
All right, just a little sneak preview before we wrap things up. Show me your best Elvis impression. A little preview of what you're bringing to the stage. Little preview of what you're bringing to the stage tonight.
Derek Stott, you have to do it like this.
I have to do, okay.
You can do this one, or you can do it like this. Okay. So it's different. It's different. The young Elvis was different to the late Elvis. So it's just always an interesting thing how Elvis influenced all the artists and the music. Yeah. It's incredible, and it's incredible to be here in La Crosse at this King Explosion, Elvis Explosion. It's the same thing, and looking forward. What happened?
All right, show me your best Elvis dance move.
Come on, Derek, we do this together.
No. All right, well, at least I'm not going to be.
Come on, you can learn so much from it.
All right, let's
we start for you. You do this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you hit.
Now what?
You move this.
Okay.
Yeah, like this. You can say, here's the next generation.
Not only my leg, but my body's also moving.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about this. Stay with us. We'll be right back. In your morning news now, a former canine handler in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is charged in connection to the death of a police canine. Alex Moss has been charged with the intentional mistreatment of an animal, a Class A misdemeanor. That's according to online court records. He was put on administrative leave in May after his 6-year-old canine Colt suffered a heat-related injury and died 5 days later. Moss later resigned. The Vernon County Sheriff's Office and Juneau County DA's office have been investigating the canine's death ever since. Moss has an initial appearance in Monroe County Circuit Court October 10 at 9 in the morning. If convicted, he faces up to 9 months in jail, a $10,000 fine, or both. One of La Crosse's most popular restaurants is closing its doors. Fazy's restaurant and bakery ownership have announced their decision to close on Facebook. The business had been on 4th and Pearl since the 1980s. Ownership says it's been difficult to run a small family-owned business with scarce workforce, increasing food prices, and industry uncertainty. Fazey's hopes to stay open through October 8. The burn bans in the village of Stoddard and the town of Bergen have been lifted. According to Stoddard-Bergen Fire Chief Brian Lehman, it's because the current fire danger levels has improved from extreme to high. According to a previous press release put out by the Stoddard-Bergen Fire Department, a danger level of high means that fires can still start quickly from most causes and can spread at a fast rate. Oktoberfest starts in 3 weeks, but some are already celebrating. Former Mrs. Oktoberfest held a cruising of the float, the Oktoberfest version of a christening of a new boat. And instead of popping a bottle of champagne, they toasted with old-style beer. Mrs. Oktoberfest 2012, who is the chair of the float renovation committee, says it was important to have a good-looking float for the parade.
We bring in a lot of people for Oktoberfest, and we think that the music, the Gemütlichkeit, and aesthetically pleasing floats are important to a good parade.
Of course, the renovations don't only make the float look better. Bartels says the float is now safer and more comfortable to ride on. This year's Mrs. Oktoberfest has not been announced yet, but you can expect to hear more about 2023's royal family soon. Miss La Crosse Oktoberfest will be crowned Saturday. The La Crosse and Winona Public Libraries have announced this year's Driftless Regional Read. The Driftless Regional Read is an annual opportunity for the community to come together and read a single book. What Happened to You by Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey is this year's read. It focuses on how trauma impacts both physical and mental health. The libraries have teamed up with local organizations to host 30 events focused on mental health between now and December. The first Regional Read event is happening today at 1 in the afternoon in Winona. It's a nature walk hosted by Winona Nature and Community. We'll have a link with the list of all of the events posted on our platforms.
And as you head out the door this morning, temperatures are into the 50s, low 60s, partly to mostly cloudy skies. We start to see clearing, though, begin by around 11 o'clock, and then the rest of the day turning sunny with highs into the 70s with a light northerly breeze there today. Now heading into tomorrow, first part of the weekend, partly cloudy, high of 81, 79 with a chance of showers and storms Sunday. I'm watching for more shower and storm chances for Monday and Tuesday to start next week. Other than that, just expect a mainly dry rest of next week, starting Wednesday through Friday. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s. Doesn't really get much better than that for September.
No. Well, we have to acknowledge what a great sport Derek was.
Hey,
early.
I gave it a shot.
You gave it a shot.
I danced like Elvis, sort of.
Sort of.
I hope Elvis is proud.
You were a great sport to, take part in the bid, and I think that was one of the most interesting days at work.
Oh, absolutely. Those guys were just phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Dressed up like, especially the one in the middle with all
the rhinestone jumpsuit.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. I was like, man.
I mean, oh, come on, like getting up at our time and dressing up to be on TV is one thing, but for them to do that this early in the morning, kudos to them.
Yeah, kudos to them. We appreciate them being here. So.
We appreciate them being here. They were so fun. They were so tall.
Oh, I know.
Their Elvis impersonations, it makes me want to go to Elvis Explosion.
Yeah, it kind of makes me want to see the movie again, too.
That too.
That was really good.
Yes, yes. What a time.
Right.
Well, thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. We'll see you back here later today at noon. Have a wonderful Friday.